Tartar Street! Without the Tartars.
If we were to describe Vytautas the Great in more modern terms, we'd have to say that he supported Muslim immigration to Lithuania. Support doesn't even cover it. Actually, he escorted back an entire company of Tartars from Crimea himself. Or so legend has it. Some Tartars found their way to Vilnius and began to live. Where? Of course, on Tartar Street, or Totorial Gatve, as it's known in Lithuania. But in truth, the capital's Muslim neighborhood actually took shape around where Lukiškės prison used to be. Back in the day, that area was a suburb. Vytautas invited the leader of the Tartars to meet him and said, "Take this bow and release an arrow. Wherever it lands will mark the boundary of your territory." And because a bow was called a luk in Slavic language, the Tatar district came to be known as Lukiškės. Or so says another legend. Around 200 Tartars came to live in Lukiškės, and their descendants remained in the area for 600 years. The only thing to remind us of that time is a barely known street known as MICHAIL's Gatve, or Mosque Street. There actually once was a mosque there. It was a simple, wooden, but hardy structure. They prayed in the mosque on Fridays, unlike the city's larger religious communities, the Jews and Christians, who gathered in their own houses of prayer on Saturdays and Sundays respectively. It survived many wars and fires, and then the communists came. They demolished the mosques and leveled the Tartar cemetery next to it. Even in its heyday, Lukiškės was a rather poor area of town. Most Tartars lived in wooden huts, ate simple bread and a lot of garlic, and instead of pillows, they rested their heads at night on boards or stones. Indeed, old documents paint a rather bleak picture of Tartar life. Court records show that a Tartar named Tagir cut up 3 pigs belonging to one Vilnius woman and stole a tin canister full of honey. A Tartar named Ahmed beat up 6 of his compatriots in a suburb of Vilnius between the city gates of Rudninkai and Trakai. 2 Tartars injured a woman while they were drinking at a tavern. Another Tartar robbed an unknown man and tore out his beard. And Tartars didn't always treat other Tartars in the most brotherly way. They'd break their promises, fail to pay back loans, shoot arrows at one another, and steal from each other. Although Islam frowns upon alcohol, some Tartars would get drunk. And instead of rehabilitation treatment, they'd sometimes have to go to court and sign contracts. In one such agreement, a Tartar from Lukiškės named Ilya promised his brother he'd only drink kvass and water for an entire year. Tartars mostly worked in agriculture and leatherwork. They carried goods on carts or on their own backs and transported Vilnius merchants to surrounding villages. According to one foreigner, Tartar horses were just like their owners, strong and brutal. Sometimes, special talents helped them to improve their lot in life. Well versed in Arabic, Tartars sometimes worked as interpreters, and those who knew how to play the trumpet worked as royal trumpeters. Some became wealthy. They received titles and land and served in the ruler's army. A few Tartar families converted to Christianity, but most remained Muslims. But then, why is there a Tartar Street in the center of Vilnius? Because that's where the so-called Tartar gates used to be, marking the start of the road to Lukiškės, to the Muslim center of Vilnius.